Hello and welcome back. My name is Sullosian and this is another episode of Stationeers. So we're back in the harsh environment of space, and this episode I would like to finish boxing in the base, and we'll see how we go about collecting some ores and getting some ores processed at last. So, coming straight back in, there is still so much stuff just lying around, and there's a bit of cable here. I think I remember seeing some cable when I was editing the last video in this case. Yep, here it is. So we can use this cable here to hook up these here at least. So we'll just get a straight wire and make these cables here. Now we'll just chuck this stuff here. It's actually quite difficult getting used to these controls again after you've been playing Sky Wanderers and then coming back to this, and it's really bizarre just switching between games like that, but I know that I will be able to do it and it will be no problem. So first things first, let's get some iron walls up in here. Actually, let us grab some iron sheets, and I think our welder should be in our tool belt. Let's grab that and power that on. So we've now that we've actually basically finished the airlock, we need to make it airtight. So I'm going to do the side walls here first. That one there, that one there, that one there. I'm actually just going to weld these ones up here because I noticed I missed that. I'm not going to weld them up all the way because they're not necessary to make an airtight seal, but I would like to have them welded up just for future reference. Okay, we will now put the welder away. And good thing to know about the iron wall kits, these ones here which we'll place down, is that you don't actually need to use a welder to weld up the sheets. It's just sort of like you strap down a bunch of metal plates to it and it works. So we've got 15 panels, so hopefully that's just enough to finish the base. So what we'll do is we'll just place down the walls. We will rotate to get the next side. That one there, that one there. And these ones here. And then we'll just angle it up towards the roof. Ooh, I think it will be quite close. We may not have enough to finish the entire roof, so we might need to deconstruct some stuff to get enough resources back. Yeah, I think we'll be just shy of finishing it. So let's just grab these and we will start over here. So you just sort of build it up with holding left click when looking at it. It uses up the metal plate, so it's one metal plate per wall, and we will just build these here up. So yes, we will be just shy. I think we'll need about three more. So what we can do is we can just deconstruct some of these things that we've got lying around. So we'll just chuck that in the corner there. Iron walls. We will need a wrench. Nope. It's probably an angle grinder that we need. Let's try the crowbar. No crowbar. From memory, it is the angle grinder we need, so I'm going to need to take out the power supply for this. Drop the drill, pick up the angle grinder, and put the battery in there so we can actually use it. Deconstruct that wall. We'll just drop that, and then we will need to just drop the wall there as well. Move the sheets out of the way. So we need minimum 3 more iron sheets. So what we can do is we can deconstruct that one there, which the solar panel's on. It won't actually fall through or anything like that, which is good. So for that we will need a wrench, and we'll also just deconstruct these even though we just put them together. So that's 1, 2, and we'll take that one, 3. So as you can see, solar panel's still there, it's still fine. And then we will come in here, we will build up that roof there, and we'll save this one here for when we actually want to finish this wall here. We'll just bring anything we need inside, just so that way we're not making unnecessary trips through the airlock. So next what we will need to do is place our auto lathe. So the auto lathe is the first machine you end up using. It is, well, what it says it is, it's a lathe, except it does everything itself. All you have to do is input what you want, put the ingredients in, and it will output the thing that you desire. So I actually like to have it just sort of clipping through the wall, and I'll show you why later. Basically, not that we have enough electrical cables to make that sort of distance, as we will need to do something about that, but we want it just out of the way of this stuff here, and we want the import just out here. And basically, when you're smelting ores and they come out as an ingot, you collect all the ingots, and instead of having to scurry them around from outside, put them in the airlock, and then grab another trip, and then, because you only have two hands, you can only carry so much at once. It's easier if you can just take them out, cheat a little bit, glitch through the wall, and put them straight into the auto lathe from out here. And I'll actually demonstrate when we actually get some ores processing, but that should be just fine the way it is. So we'll just grab some iron frames out of this and then chuck them. Anything else? Got our labeler, got our tracking beacon, we will take that inside as well. Just throw that over there. And you might notice that we are low on power at the moment. We don't need any of that. That's no problem. So the last thing we'll grab is actually just this oxygen tank here. And it's very difficult to see because it's so large, but we'll just drop that in that corner there, and then when need be we can actually just open this up and hopefully fill up the base with some air. So how much do we have? We've got 7,513 kilopascals. That should be enough to fill this room actually. I can't be certain, but I'm hoping it is. Okay, that should be everything we need, so let's just seal ourselves in, and hopefully we can disable life support and just breathe air. So we'll grab our walls, we will put our last wall there, throw that one there, and we'll grab the iron sheet, we'll box that there. Now we should be in an airtight environment now, so that should be good. We will just open the valve to about 100 kilopascals, I think. That will get enough air coming out of here. And as you can see in the top right corner, our external environment pressure is slowly raising up. So basically all these air particles you can see, that's basically the game figuring out how big the grids are and how much air to fill into each grid and how much it can do before it runs out of air and needs to stabilize and all that. It's just game figuring out the overall dimensions of the room and filling it with air for us. So I think what we want is probably around 60 kilopascals. So when we start using this airlock with no systems to actually vent the air in and out of the airlock, air is just going to get sucked out into the vacuum when we cycle the airlock, which isn't good, but it's the way it is for now. So air is slowly going to drain from this room, and we will have to find some more air outside in the minerals and actually start replenishing air in other ways. So let's just decrease this. It should stabilize now around about 60. So basically I let it go 10 kilopascals above what it is, and then it drops down usually by about 10. So in this case it only dropped by about 5, so it's now a stable environment of 65 kilopascals. So we can actually unlock our helmet by going to our helmet on 1 and then pressing I. We can now open it, and with no errors I am happy to say that we are not dying. So this is basically how you make your first room. You have an airlock, it needs to be sealed. Whilst you will lose air for the first while, we do actually have an atmosphere inside this room. It's not quite one full atmosphere, but it is an atmosphere nonetheless, and we can breathe in it without a helmet, which means we aren't using power for our air conditioner or the suit air supply. So basically the only thing we're using power for at the moment is the flashlight, which we need because it's bloody well dark in here. So it's actually morning out there now, so we're going to need to go out there and re-angle that solar panel. So do we have... oh, we got our wrench in our hand. I'm just going to pick up all of our tools and put them away because we will need them eventually, and it's better that we have them on us. Tracking beacon, and that should be everything. We'll just put our wires in there as well. Now we will go outside. So first thing to remember when you're going outside, close your helmet. I forget that all the time and I end up suffocating, but you know, you think after a while I'll remember it. So let's just cycle to exterior. So as you can see, we've got our 65 kilopascals in here. That will just open the airlock because there's no way that this can actually suck the air anywhere, but it's no problem. So hopefully that all makes sense, and we will just go up onto the roof now, and we will re-angle by tilting upwards to probably about 80% now, maybe 70%. 80%. Let's see, it's getting nearly basically 500 watts, which as far as I know is around about the maximum you can get from a single solar panel. So we are actually getting pretty maximal power at the moment, and that's good. So we're just going to put our wrench away. We're going to get our mining belt out, swap that over by holding 5, getting our drill out in the other hand, and we'll just turn it on. But basically, we need to go and get some ores and stuff now. So first things first, we need oxide and coal. Oxide so we can replenish the air that's in our base.
Jetpack critical.
And coal so that way we can power... ooh, cavern down there. And coal so we can power our solar generator. So there's actually some coal over here, we'll just grab that. Mining is quite nice in this game. It's you just sort of have to look for the cracked sort of terrain. That means there's ore nearby, and coal is this colour, as you can hopefully see. And we will just collect a bunch of it, and then go back inside, or go to the outside of the base, shove it in the solar generator, and then once we get some other ores, we can start processing them. So first ores we want are iron, copper and gold. So gold is more for electronics, iron and copper are basically used for everything else. So over here we've got some volatiles. This is basically what we'll be using when we start using gases and basically anything furnace related. So we're using an arc furnace at the moment, which is a little bit different to the actual furnace. The furnace will put out gases as well as use gases to cook things. So volatiles are basically hydrogen in a solid form, and you need to use the hydrogen as an ignition sort of fuel for the actual furnace. So later on we will need that. So at the moment I'm just grabbing some gold, which we will use for electronics, which we will need for cables and such. Maybe not cables, but other electrical things. So we'll just grab a bunch of gold, probably no more than 50. So how much do we have? 17. Let's grab a little bit more. Also I should mention that each of the ores have a different amount of time to smelt and require a different amount of power to smelt. So gold will require about 500 watts of continuous power to smelt one ore, and it will take about 2 seconds per ore. Whereas iron only requires about 250 watts of power, and will only take 1 second per ore. So you can basically just chow through the iron ore really quickly, and it's really easy. So we'll actually just mine here. I saw some oxides, and hopefully we can get some more. So we'll just see if we got any. So we've got 8 oxides, which is decent, but it looks like that's all that was there. So we'll just grab some more coal. Coal is very handy. You basically always need coal. Initially for the solar generator, and then later on in game for steel. So it ends up being 3 parts iron, 1 part coal per steel. And steel is basically what you end up using later in the game quite a lot. But you need the furnace for steel because it is an alloy and not a solid sort of ore that you can just smelt. So, sort of mining this out. There's more coal there, but we don't need too much more coal. We've got plenty for the moment. What we really need is ores like iron, copper, and oxides. Ooh, so over here, this should be some iron. So iron looks reddy browny, just similar to real life, which is nice. Copper looks similar to iron, but it has like green veins running through it almost. Ooh, looks like we dropped down into a hole. Luckily our suit didn't get depressurized, but our jetpack is low, and it looks like it just ran out. So we have to be mindful now, we have no jetpack. So we'll just tunnel our way back up to the surface. It's a bit sort of crowded and cramped in here, but not to worry. We will still get out and get into the openness of space once more.
Power critical.
Power critical. So that's when you know things aren't very good. So we got some iron at least, that's a good start. I would really like to find some oxides and copper. So we'll just leave that iron that was back there. Sometimes it's good to leave some ores on the surface just so that way you can use it as landmarks. So we've got plenty of coal here, that's all wonderful. Some more gold, which we will use later. Oh, I think I see some copper. No, that's probably coal. Get more coal. More coal. Oxides, we need these. Oxides are great. And just grab these. And hopefully we can get back to base and start smelting stuff once we go inside and swap out our battery for one that actually has power in it. Because our battery for our suit and life support is running very low. Or critical, as the game is telling us. Okay, so this here is silicon. So we will need that later in the game for very few recipes, but we will still need it nonetheless. And it looks like our mining belt is actually full of ores because we can't collect this. So it's all just piling on the ground. So we'll just have a look at what we've got. Got a bunch of stuff there. So what we're going to do is actually just store our tool belt, go into our mining belt, grab the coal, put it into our uniform, and then we will pick up the silicon, also put that into our uniform. We don't need much silicon, but we've got it just for future. And here's some copper. This is what we were after. Copper and iron is what we need. So in terms of ores that you smelt, sorry, the iron is easiest to smelt, copper is next, and then gold is probably last. But it doesn't appear to be too much copper here, which is unfortunate. Hopefully some more just there. So we'll just dig around some more. Got some more here, good. Silicon we don't want. More copper there, that is good. That is enough for now. We will go back to base because it looks like it's sunset now. And with the sun being where it is, I can't actually see where the base is. Well, that's not good. I think we've lost the base. Ah, there it is. See some stuff for a moment. Hopefully our batteries have charged. Hopefully our airlock isn't out of charge. Yep, it looks like it is. We might have used all the battery in that. So what we're going to do is take out the battery of that, put it in there, and then cycle to interior. And now because it will try to draw air from inside the base to pressurize the airlock, which I'm surprised it is actually doing. Usually it doesn't do that. It will try to reach 100 kilopascals, and then once it does, it will open the airlock. But because it doesn't have enough air, it's not going to do that. So there's now pretty even air environment in here. So I don't know why that worked. Usually that doesn't work. Usually you need a passive vent on the end of this pipe in order to get it to draw air from this room and put it into the airlock. But it worked, so I am happy. And we are going to open our helmet, go to suit, swap out that battery there, and swap over that there. We'll put that in there. and we'll just leave that small battery for that. Now we should have everything we need. We'll just drop our drill there. We've got our tracking beacon, which we'll place down here. Take the battery out of that, put it in there, put that battery in there. Now we need to get some cable so we can actually hook up the auto lathe. So this is going to be problematic. We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cable about. 10 cable, and we have, from memory, about 3. So just going to get our tool belt out. Yeah, so we've got 3 cables, so we'll just get that. What we're going to do is we're going to link up what we can just here. So we don't actually need the data port to get used, which is handy, saves us 1 extra cable, but we're going to need probably about 7 more cable to make the T intersection there and then come down here. So we will have to go outside and figure out the best system of rewiring things without breaking all the systems we've got. So we will need all of our tools, and that means we need the tool belt. I'm just going to put our ores back in here. We're going to come into the airlock like so, and geez, that's already going flat. We are going to come out here, let the airlock open, and immediately switch this off. Oh, close the helmet. Helmet closed just in time. Now we actually have to get up there, but we don't have a jetpack anymore, so that could be difficult.